Hey, Stars Live, how's it going? Hey, Ken, how you doing? You were wondering? Yeah, I was either gonna do it early or late, and it's later. It's Whew. When do you sleep? Hey, Christopher, how's it going? Hey, Frog Studio. All right, well, don't stick around too long, Stars Live, because I probably will stream tomorrow morning, which is your afternoon, but still, you want to be able to get some sleep. What's the time here? Um, 3:44. I think I need to get a pick. I may go grab a pick. AM or PM? PM. Oh, I know there's no sound on the guitar. If you remember from the ongoing weirdnesses, there's not going to be sound on instruments unless I do a crazy thing because of all the noise canceling. So we're leaning into it. We're having a talking stream where we're going to just jam out and talk through thing. And then tomorrow will actually maybe even be a no talking stream. We may just do hymns and Christmas music. We'll see. We'll see. Um, Actually, I may try that out. I may try a test, an unlisted test later, figure it out, and then go from there. That's great. Cool. Hey, how's everybody doing? You're addicted to you, hooked on your love? Beautiful. Could we have a quick tutorial on arpeggios? I'm imagining those beautiful endings to piano songs. Ah, yeah, absolutely. Let's talk through arpeggios real quick. Hey, Hunter. I almost said Hunter. Wow, anime brain going crazy. Uh, so let me give you basically the big unlock for arpeggios. You lost the Valorant tournament and got second place. How is losing? That means you only lost to one person. That's pretty good. Or again, your placement got you second. That's pretty good. Hey Riley, how's it going? Let's talk arpeggios. So first of all, let's define what arpeggios are. Basically, you've got a chord, right? And then you move the chord up. I can play Tennessee Whiskey, but we're not doing that right now. We're just talking because sound through like musical instruments are just not working with my current setup. So we're just vibing right now. Hey, Sophia, how's it going? Glad to answer your musical questions though. So you have arpeggios, right? Now, what arpeggio is taking a chord and then you're moving it around, right? So you're playing the notes individually, da dee dee, and then you move your hand da 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 to somewhere else. How old am I? Guess. So what you're going to want to do, Frog Studio, is play the chord as a block, as a chunk with the correct fingers. So 1, 2, 3. Then you're going to move your hand to the next spot. 1, 2, 3. Again. Yep. You got it, Sophia. You want to do that, right? Then what you're going to do is you're going to start going ba da da, then move and just wait, and then do it again da da da, and then move, just wait again da da da, and then hit the top ba 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 da 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 da. Right? You're from Germany? That's awesome, Sarah. Hey V3Y, how's it going? Hey Kendra, how are you doing? What's my favorite song? Um, it just depends on what time period. I would say right now, um, I will say, "O Come All Ye Faithful" is one of my favorite Christmas songs. I will tell you that. Okay, so block chord first, then break it up with a pause, and then practice the jumps. Ba da da ba, ba da da da. You're jumping up scales. Am I Christian? Yes. What do when I do arpeggios, it sounds kind of like I'm just jumping up scales, so I assume it goes up and down quickly. Try to practice making it smoother and not so a lot of times that jumping or that feeling like it's not connected is because it's physically not connected. So what you want to do is you want to try to practice having things be very calm with your hand. If you're getting a lot of jerkiness, it's going to sound jerky, right? Your teammates are not experienced such as me. That's why you lost, because I died. Last round, everyone died as soon as I'm gone. It makes sense. Mark Zuckerberg playing guitar? Exactly, Atrahasis. Absolutely. That's the whole point. Um, Frog Studio, practice block chords and practice going slowly, okay, and playing as smooth as possible. Relax and try that. Um, what do you wanna learn, Andres? Do I like Taylor Swift? I like what Taylor Swift stands for. I like the person, the self-made businesswoman. I like the um being true to yourself and writing songs and doing all that. I don't particularly care for um I don't actually really care for her music very much. Um I just being honest, I don't. But a lot of pop artists, it's not a huge one. Am I the which one is AI guy? Yes, Ryan. Yes, you tracked me down. How you doing? You're gonna sleep because I'm missing someone? Good. Get some sleep. You're learning arpeggios and chord progressions. I don't know how to keep the song going. I go from melody to melody. I can't keep the rhythm on my keyboard. Try metronome or drum machine or play along with a recording of the song you're working on. Metronome, drum machine, play along with a recording of the song. Is it really bad that I lose my consistency in piano practice? The last days I only had practiced some minutes but don't have much time to learn something new. Um, hey, greetings from Egypt, Captain Major. That's awesome. Do I play classical? Yes. Yes, I do. I play whatever though. Hey, DCZA, how's it going? Every song sounds better in that one setting. Yeah, I'm doing that. That's my current trend right now. It like so I film a bunch of videos and so that can I play art of guitar? Sure. I'm Marson. There you go. Um uh so this is what I would say about consistency. The trick with consistency is um setting your expectations extremely low. That blessed your ears. Isn't it just the most beautiful thing you've ever heard? I heard somebody describe that the tone of the acoustic guitar for Marcin is a microwave, and it really cracked me up. Do you remember me from the other day? Yes, I do. Tilted XP, EXP Go. I do. Hey, Drew Dia. You have low expectations? Good. Good. Everybody, people don't understand. Okay. Can I turn you guys on to some play Bach? Here's some Bach. I want to turn you guys on to some just killer stuff. What you want to do is you want to the keyboard is not turned on. Also, you wouldn't be able to hear it anyway. All right, I'll see you, Sophia. Oh, I know you can't hear the piano. You can't hear anything right now because of noise canceling. That's why we're just doing a talking stream. Hence the name of it. Bach was so peak. Yeah, believe it or not, I actually was playing Bach. Um, so let me tell you guys something. It's you want low expectations daily, and you want high goals for long term. Like you should be like, I'm gonna become the best guitar player in the world. But that's like your long term goal. And then your expectations for today is like, I just need to get 5 minutes in. Just wanted to say thanks for the tips. Bakken mentions that you gave me 4 to 5 days ago. Maybe better on piano. Yes, awesome. Shotty got that low. Exactly. Low, 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 low. Slow and steady. Yes, slow and steady does win the race. Can I please play Smoke on the Water? I can. You're not going to be able to hear it. All right, I'll see you stars live. So it's the low expectations that make more consistency? Yes, because right now what you're telling me is you're feeling like what you're currently achieving right now is not good enough. And what I'm trying to tell you is let's say that you said, you know what? I just have to play piano 5 minutes every day, just 5 minutes. And I just need to be this much better, literally this much better at something. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure that I'm relaxed. I'm gonna breathe before I play. I'm gonna make sure that my hands are slightly more together. I'm going to make sure that uh, no, I understand what you're saying, Christian. No escucha. There's gonna be no sound. You're not gonna be able to hear the music. I spend like 3 hours on the piano every day. That's great. That's super good. Sleeping is very important. I'm not saying not to do that. I spent during college time, like a couple years before college, through college, I spent, I don't know, somewhere between 8 and 14 hours on the piano every day. Yeah. So I'm not saying to not play a bunch of piano. If you want to get really, really good, you're going to need to play a bunch of piano. But what you need to do is you need to put your expectations really low and exceed them and then build on that hype and keep crushing, right? What most people do is they put their expectations really high, constantly live in disappointment. That cycle, the Bible has this verse. It says, hope deferred makes the heart sick. Basically, like when you don't get what you want, yes, yes, 8 was the minimum stars live. In college, I would at least play the piano 8 hours a day, at least. Do you guys do understand for the longtime watchers, there's a reason why I can play any song. I know I kind of treat it like a meme, but it doesn't come from nowhere. Uh so if you're constantly living in disappointment, you will become depressed. You will not like what you're currently doing and you'll get discouraged to the point that you give up. But instead, imagine a world where you're constantly exceeding what you're doing. Not because you're like, oh, I love myself even though I don't do what I say. No, that's garbage too. But I am working on what I want to do. I'm being consistent, right? You really play for 40 to 60 minutes. I thought that was enough. It is. It is. You practice 6 hours a day. So here's okay. Let me level some expectations. 5 minutes a day is enough to make progress. You're already depressed. Exactly. See, that's the one where they can never figure out. You can't become depressed if you're already depressed. You've got some real secrets in there too. Um, so you can make progress 5 minutes a day. You can. Are you going to make infinite progress? Are you going to make a ton of progress? No, you're not. You can make so if you were serious about pop music, for example, and getting decent at pop music, then I would say 20 to 30 minutes a day. If you want to be kind of a shoddy pop music player. If you wanted to get to the point where you're playing classical halfway decent, 40 to 60 minutes for sure. 40 to 60 minutes. If you wanted to get to the point where you're going to be able to get into college, then yeah, 2 to 3 hours. You want to play jazz professionally? At least 2 to 3 hours, right? If you're serious about it as like your career, like you want to be a really good piano player, then yeah, you're going to need to practice more than 3 hours. When I started watching you, my technique improved, became faster. Wow, that is like the best compliment I think I've ever gotten. Like playing too much, it's not bad. Like 8 to 10 hours is way too much. It depends on what you're doing. It depends on what you're doing. When I say 8 to 10 hours, I don't mean I locked myself in a room for 8 to 10 hours straight. What I mean is, I would show up on campus at about 7 in the morning. I would spend about 2 hours practicing before class. Then I'd go to a class, and then I'd spend about an hour practicing before my lesson. So that's like noon to one. Then I'd have my lesson. That's 1 to 2. So now I'm at 4 hours by 2 p.m. And then I had rehearsals for ensembles that I was in the afternoon. Maybe I had jazz ensemble or big band ensemble. That's another 2 to 3 hours. So now we're at 6 to 7 hours, and it's like 4 or 5 p.m. Then I'm going to practice in the evening. So now we got another 2 hours there, maybe 3 hours. Now we're at 8 to 9 hours. And then I typically would have a band practice or a concert after that. So 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. or 9 p.m. to midnight, another 3 hours. Hey, CK, how's it going? No, the break's not included in that time. I'm talking about physically time spent playing the piano. Should I dedicate my life more to piano because I'm kind of into parkour, like I can do a side flip, back flip on grass? Um, why not do both? I will say it is a good idea to prioritize something, okay? Something that I think is preached a little too much among the younger generation right now is that you can do anything. How many of my students made the mistake of being impatient? All of them, Donna. Every single one. Me too. It is if you had to tell me the two biggest mistakes that people make that are just general mistakes, not like a specific technical mistake, it is um it is being impatient, and it is not being kind to themselves, thinking that they are better than they actually are. Those are the two biggest mistakes. If you can accept that you probably are way worse at the piano than you actually are, and that's okay, like you accept the fact that you're bad, and then also that it's going to take a while to get better, you will make more progress than anybody else around you. You played piano when I was little, but then got quit. I started learning to play basic chords and stuff a few months ago. You're a big music guy. Oh, that is so much fun. That's awesome. It is better to have breaks for sure. You love the purple guitar? Yeah, I like this guitar too. Um, you can't hear it because it's not plugged in, and um it's not plugged in, and also the live streaming is kind of lame with how it deals with musical sounds. Tomorrow though, we'll do one through a computer, and then you'll be able to hear it. You just sit down as long as I really have time for, but sometimes I don't have a lot of time. But hey, that's okay. Is sight reading important in piano? Because I don't know how. It depends on what your thing is, what your goals are. Is it better to practice a bit more or make a longer break? Um, I don't quite know exactly what you're asking. Yeah, this I'm really happy with this guitar. This thing was super cheap too. It was like, I don't know, a little under 300 bucks, I want to say. It's one of those, so like somebody bought the rights to make guitars in this branding that was like from the 70s or whatever. So Kramer was a brand, Jackson was another brand, and they 10-minute or it's as much time as you need to refresh your physical self and your brain. So I tell some of my students literally just stand up and drink a cup of water and then come back to the piano. Hey, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to everybody. Just the season. Actually, let's learn. I'm gonna practice some guitar while we're just chilling here. I think I'm gonna start trying to learn the beginning. Well, let's start trying to learn Departure on guitar. Um, You kind of want to learn guitar because I can already read and play 3 octaves. Yeah, the cool thing about guitar from piano. All right, I'll see you later, Stars Live. Get some sleep. The cool thing about guitar from piano, um, isn't Clave Ballisticum one of those Black MIDI songs? Also, we're not playing any music right now. I know. From the guy who has a guitar in his lap and a piano in front of me, we're not playing any music right now. You love nylon string guitars? You used to play in college? If you can buy stuff IRL, that's 100%. But it's possible your stream is not synchronized to your lips. You know what I mean? Absolutely, I know what you mean. And I don't have any control over that. It might be that I'm using AirPods. I just wanted the voice to come in clear because I'm and do something kind of off the cuff. Because I just wanted to get an hour in today because I'm trying to build the numbers back up. Because we were doing some pretty bombastic numbers, but then life got busy and then other things happened. This was just Amazon. I got a bunch of lights. This is technically a light. I got a bunch of them for the kids, but there was one extra, and so I took him because he's cute. And cute stuff on stream is a good way to capture the people that are scrolling endlessly, and hopefully save them from brain rot. Hi from Turkey. We like you a lot and think your videos are very enlightening. Ah, I appreciate that. FNAF fan, how's it going? Portrait versus horizontal, you like both views? Yeah, I'm trying to do so. Portrait videos do much better in general with views because they're served into the shorts feed, which means they actually are discoverable. Horizontal videos are better for like trying to chill with people for a long time because people are watching them on their computer and they just leave it up and they just chill. um, but Portrait is way better at building an audience. I'm still very much in the audience building phase. I really am. Like I probably will be there for another 3 years. And then my hope is, if I can just entertain all the people I have at that point, then I'm happy. What is the difference between weighted keys and non-weighted keys? Weighted keys, so where it comes from is piano has weight. And the reason why is the key, you push it down, and there's all these mechanisms. And those mechanisms require a certain amount of energy to get the hammer to come up and strike the string. But then also, you need weight to pull the hammer back down. So the actual physical key has weight that you're pushing. It makes it much harder to play a piano key, but it also makes it capable of pushing very slowly and getting a very soft sound, and pushing very hard and getting a much louder sound. Non-weighted keys can be velocity sensitive, meaning they still comprehend how quick you're pushing the key down, but they don't have any weight because literally the key is just this piece of plastic. And it's just detecting how fast you push it down. Don't start with an electric piano. If you want to transition to regular piano, don't start with an electric piano. I totally agree. Um, SCPs on them, even though I do not know that. Is there a hardest instrument? Isn't that impossible to measure? Some people would say that I would say there's two camps. There's one camp that says every instrument is the hardest instrument possible because every instrument has finesse, right? There's little tricks that you can do, and there's always extra stuff you can do. Um, I fall a little bit more in the camp that certain instruments, I think, even at the high end of the difficulty curve, um, promise a bit more and are more explored, right? We know more about the technical difficulties. Um, so, and you can parse this a few different ways. Like, let's say to get competent at an instrument, let's pick an instrument that's like an outlier on the easy end of the spectrum. Bass guitar. I'm going to piss off the bass guitarists, but bass guitar is easily one of the easiest instruments. And the reason why is it does have some hurdles at the beginning. You do need fairly large hands to be able to reach the notes because it's a big instrument. I'm not talking about double bass, by the way. I'm talking about electric bass guitar. Um, and you need to be able to push the notes down, get some tone, right? But then you just need to keep track of single notes. You can totally crush at that point. Bless the parents willing to listen to their children learn violin. Exactly. I think violin is the hardest to learn, but the piano is the hardest to perfect. Um, One question before I go: is it unhealthy to have three pianos in your house? No, you need at least three pianos in your house. Now, granted, I only have one piano right now in my house, and then I have, I don't know, 12 different keyboards. Um, on the difficult side of the perspective, I think there's probably three legitimate contenders for hardest instrument. What do you need? Okay, that's fine. Um, you can give me one of them? Nah, they all serve a purpose. Sorry, you can pry them from my cold dead fingers. So there are probably three contenders for most difficult instrument. Uh, I would say violin, piano, and guitar all tend to want to occupy that. I think guitar gets removed right away. It sounds like I'm lip syncing. It's probably because I am. Honestly, this whole video is lip synced. I'm not even here. I'm actually, this is an AI avatar and I'm just talking somewhere else. I'm just in my from my computer playing video games. So again, going back to difficulty of instruments, harp is lovely. Is the harp closer to piano? The harp, okay, most instruments, most instruments have this type of difficulty curve. Very, very high barrier to entry. Harp, actually, harp's weird because harp actually very beginner. Harp, super easy. You literally just pluck notes. But then there's this threshold. There's this difficulty threshold to get even halfway decent. Just play arpeggios to get better. It can work. I do not have perfect pitch. How to get better at arpeggios on piano? Actually, I was talking about this earlier. Let me finish about difficulty and harp and piano for a second. I would say most instruments have a difficulty hurdle, and then you just cruise for a really long time at the intermediate level. And to get to advanced requires another big difficulty threshold, then you cruise at the advanced level. That's generally every instrument, right? The notable exceptions, I think, are really, if you look at it, like piano and violin and a bit guitar. They literally have this like infinite scale at the end. And it's because there's been so many amazing musicians who have spent so much of their life trying to perfect them that if you want to learn harder stuff, you can always learn harder stuff. Like, and again, I'm not trying to diss any other instrument. Trombone, beautiful instrument. You can spend a lifetime trying to perfect trombone. It's really, really hard to play trombone really, really well. On the other hand, though, once you get it down, you can 100% just basically play most of the hardest actual repertoire, not weird black MIDI stuff, not weird, performative stuff, like actual repertoire. Like you can know most of the actual hardest repertoire. That's pretty much impossible on piano. Like there's like one living concert pianist that knows most of the hardest repertoire. Most concert pianists, like, they're very good at jazz, but then they know a couple classical pieces, but they're not like know all the classical pieces. Like it's, well, and that's because that's black MIDI, and that's a different thing. And again, this is where you have to start to get into philosophical conversations about whether what difficulty actually is. Right? Adam Neely, probably my favorite Adam Neely video, um, is his video on difficulty. I think it's a pretty good video. Hey, girly Lexi, how's it going? How to get better at arpeggios on piano. So I already talked about this, but let's talk about it a little bit more. So what you do, this is my three-step way to get better at original arpeggios. Sorry, I'm reading the chat and saying original because I saw original. Play block chord, move up an octave, block chord. Oh yeah, If you haven't noticed, I kind of like music and talking about things. Block chord, and then up, pinky, block chord, block chord. 2 months. Okay. Can you do a favor for me? I am Glow Glow. That's really impressive. That's really cool. Can you learn like a normal classical song and like get it to the point where you can play it really good, not make a single mistake, make it musical? It's gonna like blow everyone's mind. You're gonna have somebody crying in the corner. Like I'm talking about like Minuet in G, or I'm talking about like a piece from Album for the Young, Robert Schumann. You know For Elise? Do you know the entire song of For Elise, or do you just know the beginning? That anytime someone lists off what you just told me, that's what I would say. Uh arpeggio, arpeggio. So chord, chord, pinky, chord, chord. And then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, pinky, and then back down. Do you think music is better in the 20s? Do you think music in the 20s is better than the 18s or the 19s? I don't think you can make an objective estimate about which is better. Okay, let me do this analogy from a technology standpoint. If we were being completely honest, the 1800s had the most transformative technological advancement. Because pre 1800s, we were all farmers. And then the 1900s had almost as transformative of advancement. And then in the first 25 years of the 2000s, we've almost had a similar degree of 100 years of technological advancement in like 25 years, and especially like the AI stuff right now. Why did I bring that up? It is pretty arguable that the 1800s, if you loop in like the 1700s, really like 1750 to 1800, were the most transformative years in terms of Western European music tradition because of Bach, right? Pretty much it's Bach. It's hard to deny that that isn't special and really important. Once you get past Bach, there's a million more moments like that, but Bach is the point for that, right? That's the transformational point. There is a similar moment in the 50s with basically rock and pop music, and that moment is really informed by all the technology, right? All the change in technology. And then you have right now this basically renaissance of music because in many ways the internet opening up and the burgeoning fact that there are billions of people now who can afford smart devices and listen to music mean that there's an audience for almost every type of song, and you can discover music that was undiscoverable before because of the internet and social media and all that stuff. So that's a long way of saying no. I don't think music in the 20s is better than the 18s or the 19s, but I think it's all the same. I think it's all cool. I think it's all important. I think it's all cool, which is kind of a cop out answer, but hopefully I gave you enough context that you get it. It's like 11 p.m. for you. Well, there you go. Jingle bell, jingle all the way. There you go. All right, let's learn some more Hunter x Hunter while we're waiting here. Last Christmas. Do you like Christmas music, Donna? This person's. You love it? Nice. It's really weird. I don't know why they wrote out the melody. Let's see. Hey, how's it going? Ira, I guess. Hey, it's Simon. How's it going? What's the other Hunter x Hunter song? There's Departure, but then there's the other one that's super heavy. Masatochi. Oh, oh, what was it? I'm just gonna this is gonna drive me crazy. Hold on. I just gotta track it down here. Hunter x Hunter. So I want to learn a little bit of this. Hunting for your dreams. That's the one I want to learn. Hunting for your dreams. I need to learn some more shred. Ooh, boo, doo, 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 doo. There we go. Anybody have more music questions? I'm happy to answer them. I know this is chiller than it typically is, but that's okay with me. Tomorrow we'll probably chill it out even more because it'll be a streamer. Can I do sweater weather? I can play sweater weather. We're not playing it right now. What is the hardest piece in the what is the hardest piece in the I don't know what you're saying. Yes, I've had that happen to me, Donna. What is the hardest piece in the history of piano? Well, Muhan, that's a very, very tricky question. So, like, there's historical ones that people point to, like the Gaspard de la Nuit, which is a set of pieces by Ravel, is a lot of times considered extremely, extremely hard. Then there's the people that point to the expressionists. So they look at suites by Schoenberg that were 12 tone that are very challenging conceptually to play, also technically, but mostly conceptually. Then there's more like classical literature hard pieces to play. So that would be no, I don't think a single Chopin piece hits the hardest pieces list. Some of the transcendental etudes of Liszt potentially go on that list. No pun intended. Beethoven Hammerklavier, the Hammerklavier, that a lot of times is tossed out there as the hardest. Rachmaninoff Third Piano Concerto is tossed out a lot of times as hardest. Uh, there's a lot of more modern pieces that are extremely, extremely hard. But I think one of the things, and this gets to what matters, like you could do something that is extremely physically demanding that you have an edge at because maybe you have really, really big hands or maybe really, really small hands, right? It's underrated. I mean, that's probably true, but like you're talking about what is considered the hardest piece in history. So that this is part of the controversy conversation about difficulty. Like in many ways, the Black MIDI thing was this kind of funny movement that happened because you could play it with a computer, right? And so then you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of task assisted speed runs, right? Spider Dance now, Spider Dance is not the hardest song on the piano. Nowhere close. Nowhere close. Um, or are you asking me to play Spider Dance right now? I here's the problem with YouTube Shorts. I believe when you're in the short, you're not really seeing the title of what it is. I literally put as the title that we're not playing anything today. It's doing conversation. What were the first kind of songs I learned at my university? I appreciate that question. That's actually a great question because most people ask, "What's my first song?" Um, so the first, let's see, I came in working on a Brahms Rhapsody. I remember that. Um, it would have been a Beethoven Sonata. No, I did Tempest later. Oh, Bach's Italian Concerto. That was there. Bach's Italian Concerto was one. I think Clara Schumann Prelude and Fugue. I think so. There was one more. Maybe it was just Brahms Rhapsody. Maybe it was Brahms Rhapsody. No, that's two romantic pieces. I can't remember, honestly. Some modern piece too. I always did modern. I love modern. Did I keep playing that? I may have kept playing the I was working on a Japanese piece. What is the funkiest piece in your opinion? Like funky in terms of feel good or funky in terms of like weird? Play the intro of Last Rites, Love to Death. We're not playing anything today. We're just chatting. Tomorrow, though. Tomorrow we'll be playing stuff. Hello there. Hello there to you. Probably feel good. Oh, that doesn't even reach the scale of funky. I'm sorry, bud. Brian, you need to get educated in the funk. You need to listen to some Parliament Funkadelic. You need to listen to some James Brown. You need to listen to Soul Live. You need to go over to the gospel world. Man, I was listening to Go Tell It on the Mountain from the 1995 record of Kirk Franklin and the Family doing You Were Genuinely Disappointed. Didn't say General Kenobi. Would you say people who are playing instruments are smarter because it's so good for their brain? I don't think it's that way. God, man, Israel Houghton stuff, very funky, very funky. How you doing, Vinicius? Um, I would not say that playing instruments make you smarter. I would say that there's two things going on with that. The first is I think people who self-select around instruments as something that they really appreciate and value, it's sort of the same self-selection as people who read a lot of books. I don't think reading books makes you smarter. I think smart people like to read, okay? And if you had a spectrum of how intelligent you would be perceived as, the alternate universe where you chose not to read any books, you would be perceived as less intelligent than the one where you read books. So it's a bit of a glasses effect, right? Oh, you play guitar. Oh, you play piano. It's like wearing glasses. People are like, there's something about that person that makes you a little smarter. And then I think the other part of it is self-selection. Can I play Carol of the Bells? I can. It's true. What's your favorite song, or maybe a few of your favorite songs? I'm liking that we're starting to get away from just asking point blank, "What's your favorite song?" Because that's like one of my least favorite questions. Um, I'll give you three of my favorite Christmas songs. Of the Father's love begotten. Beautiful, beautiful. Let all mortal flesh keep silence. Gorgeous. Let's actually stay in that same vein. Lo, how a rose are blooming. Absolutely grows it. Gorgeous. Um, we could do 7 years old probably on Monday. We're not doing that. I know you use a Roland. What kind? It's an FP90. In my personal opinion, the FP90, or now I think it's the FP90X, is the best value digital piano that exists. It just is. Are there better instruments? There are, but it is, you're always going to be on a perspective where you're going to be paying a lot more for things that you don't necessarily want. If you want to be a serious person or just not be uh, weird, you can stay in the chat, Ami. Did you also learn a bit psychology about why someone likes a melody or not? Oh yeah, anybody who likes to write music has works on that. I know you use an AI. Oh, that's ridiculous. You use an Alesis QS 6.1. Nice. Yours is Undyne Boss Music. Cool. That's great. Monsters and God. We're not doing that right now. Music is not something you hear; it's something you feel. I hate to correct you here, but music definitionally is something you hear. It's sound waves. Now you also feel it too, and it is organized patterns, and humans love patterns. But that's like when somebody says, "I don't believe in absolutes." It's a self-defeating statement. Like you're fighting against language itself. And I get what you're trying to do. You're trying to express something, and that's okay. But like you are fighting against language itself when you say something like that. Do you like anime? If so, which one? I do have a bunch of random mangas behind me. I like JoJo. JoJo's really good. Hunter x Hunter's fun. Um, we could definitely do a. The sound of music is something you hear. The music itself, though, is something you feel. Again, I know what you're going for. Um, I feel like in some ways you're wrestling with the very indeterminate, ambiguous nature of language, which is a beautiful thing. Um, so I'm not going to fight you on it, but it's not quite the statement I think you're going for. There's no authentic anything, Jace. People got to get over that after Avatar Airbender. That's cool. I see it like that. Science says what Robert said, and what we as humans see is the feeling. Yeah. So there's okay. Don't get me wrong. I'm actually a very I personally think the beauty of the world and everything is there is actual magic. There is actual things that we don't understand and that we can't understand. We can't define, right? And that's beautiful and that's lovely. Um, I think in many ways though, science makes things feel sad. Well, it's really an abuse of science. You cannot be scientific about something that you cannot define and put in a coordinated box in a place to be. But we started using the word science to talk about everything. So like even when you look at music, we use music theory. And the reason why it's theory is because it's not proven. But we try to pretend that you can just science anything and define it, right? And in many ways, like music on the one hand is actually extremely definable. It's actually pretty easy to define. which is it is intelligently made patterns, right? Am I teaching a lesson on here? I'm just talking. Well, science is not subjective truth. Science should be following the scientific method, which is basically, trying to go step by step to effectively, most of the time, actually prove what we don't know. Right? You're not even trying to prove what you know. You're just trying to prove. You're trying to basically cross stuff off the list. Right? Well, of course, it's always changing because the best knowledge is always going to be changing. Because again, at the end of the day, like at some point, the best theory was the earth was flat because we didn't know any better. And then somebody looks up and goes, wait a second, am I going to teach lessons on here? No, I'm not going to. Um, I have taught plenty in my life. I like to answer questions and I like to engage with people on topics, but like teaching formal lessons through things, like I may make a series at some point and then maybe offer some like super luxury tier where we have some weird thing, but I don't know. Maybe, maybe. Never say maybe. Appreciate it, Stephanie. Yeah, I mean, what I wouldn't mind doing, what I wouldn't mind doing is putting together some sort of series where I can fully define my method of trying to learn piano from start to finish and then like maybe some niche subjects through there. But that's like a next year thing. Like I have way too much going on right now. I basically need to get my work stuff all under control and get help with that so it doesn't take up so much of my time. And then I need help with this channel too. And if I got both of those things in place, I would have enough time to basically film like I don't even know like there's so many things I have an issue with, so I'd have to do it in a very specific way. Like courses, the way courses are traditionally done, I do not like. Like I would almost want to you have to charge something. And this is what's really tricky. You have to charge something for two reasons. One is it's quite expensive to make a course. Like there's a huge time investment for me and potentially equipment and expertise investment, right? To film a course. But you have to do it to recoup that. And you also have to charge something so that people buy in, right? So they actually are invested in it. Because if I just give it away for free, people will treat it like it's garbage because that's what people do with free stuff these days. But at the same time, I think people overcharge for their courses. And I think as well, they're not very informative. They oversell and underdeliver, right? So I really want to think through it and figure out something that's going to be helpful. Science is why you became an atheist, religion became a fairy tale. Interesting. The more and more I learn about science, the more and more not religious I get, but the more spiritual I get. Um that would be the idea, Stephanie. Yeah. Again, I'm not opposed to it. I think people who reject the way that people do things um full send is they're being short-sighted, right? They're being short-sighted. We're not playing anything, Hassan. You don't have to worry. And Los Nellos, yeah, we're not playing anything right now. Gonna chat for a couple more minutes and then kill the stream for today. Appreciate you, CK. Yeah. No, I mean this has been a really fun year. So up until this year, I've mostly just been scrambling to make enough money for my family. And my wife's always been working. And now she's staying at home and my business is growing. And so it's just gonna figure out how all that model stuff works. Um, which again, like I also want to help inform people and help people out because I think business is another thing that people are just not, and the resources for business are honestly worse than music. because if I know something that you don't about business, instead of teaching it to you, I can just manipulate you and make money off of you. So you always have to go back to what is someone's self interest in this. And most of the time, their self interest says it's better to scam you than to help you, which is very sad, but is very true. That's why you have to be so wary about any financial product, any lifestyle product, anything trying to help you. Um, it's just human nature. It's gross. Thank you, Stephanie. Yeah, I mean, I've already done quite well in music. The hardest thing for you in business is, yeah, oh yeah, no, 100%. It's a big, steep learning curve. It's a big, big, steep learning curve. And when you're starting out, you don't know it and you don't have the resources to hire someone who does know it. And like, I'm starting to get to the point where I maybe potentially could afford to hire somebody, but now I kind of know enough. I'm like, why would I? Like it's a real it's a definite catch 22. It's like by the time you know enough, like once you figure it out, you're like, "Oh, I could hire somebody to do this, but like why would I hire somebody to do this?" It becomes corrupt. What becomes corrupt? Everything, cuz all human beings. Imagine taking Christmas and what? Turning it into the ultimate consumerist dream where we commoditize going into debt. Oh, the music industry is awful. The music industry is really, really bad. It absolutely is. And again, here I'm gonna tell you something extremely depressing and then make it super optimistic. This is a good place to end. I'll have to check out that book, Company of One. CK, that's already going down my pipeline. Like I am definitely set that even if I make less money and I'm less successful, I'd much rather stay small for sure. Um, Here's my thoughts on the music industry, and this is going to be extremely depressing, but I'm going to wrap it up with something extremely optimistic. The music industry in general, and this is probably true of other industries too. I shouldn't probably just speak bad of the music industry, but it's probably true of other industries too. It's extremely corrupt and very short sighted. Like, literally, they are thinking of what will make him the most amount of money right now. That's true of every decision that they make. They are not long term thinkers at all. It is what will make the most amount of money right now. If you hear them make any good statement, like the AI right stuff right now, anything, it is all about what will increase their bottom line today, right now. Here's the good news about that, it makes them really bad at actually predicting trends and actually staying on top long term. And this is why so many indie artists have actually beaten, quote unquote, the music industry multiple times. And it's because, again, they're so short sighted. They have to think about making money right away. So, anyway, um, you guys are all wonderful. I need to get rolling for now, but appreciate you all. I will be on probably tomorrow. You want to be an artist who doesn't show up in the background of a TikTok? I want to be remembered. You can be both. Jace, that's gonna be the one little pushback I'm gonna give you. You can be both. Like there are so many serious artists is the music industry supporting the use of AI in music? They're doing both right now. They're trying to do both. They're trying to have their cake and eat it too, Donna, if I'm being honest. They're on the one hand, they're saying we're going to protect the rights of musicians. We're going to protect them from AI. Don't Nobody's going to protect you from AI. I just want to let you know. Second of all, they're at the same time, if you listen to the producers and the people who are actually making the music, they say AI is in every session that they use, every single one. The whole stack, from the songwriting to the producing to the mastering, everything. And if you actually mess with the products, you see that too. So, um, let me push back a little bit on you, Jace, and then let's get rolling. Um, don't be afraid of the consumeristic, popular nature of music and the viral nature of music. Um, Now, on the one hand, is it possible to completely sell out and be basically a blip on the screen because you're so concerned about going viral and being famous that you forget what you're doing in the first place? Yes. But I think a less covered topic, because no one covers the losers, is how many musicians decided that they will never sell out. And so therefore they never have a career, period. And nobody knows what they do. Like, if you, for example, Jace, just as an example, just to again give you a little helpful pushback. AI is the future. Yes. Yes, CK. 100%. 100%. Yeah. I always bring up the example of Billie Eilish. Like, Billie Eilish as an artist would not exist if she was born 10 years earlier than she was, because the technology enabled her artistry. I'm not trying to take anything away from Billie Eilish. There's going to be a Billie Eilish of AI, effectively. And then there's going to be a bunch of grumpy musicians who just whine about it. So Jace, here's my challenge to you. If you made 10 soulless TikToks that hurt you to make, and you made them and they did well, that would expose what you consider your true artistry, the songs you write, the music you make. That would expose potentially hundreds of thousands to millions of people to what you want them to actually hear. And your conversion rate could be terrible. Let's say it's 1%, right? You have 100,000 people watch your dumb TikTok, right? Your viral trend TikTok, whatever. That's 1,000 people that then decide that they actually care about your music and your artistry from that. I think musicians really, really need to grow up and realize that the world is a transactional, cold place where nobody cares about you and your beautiful songs. And and this idea that we can be this beautiful artist above it all just is not true. It's just a mirage and an illusion that's just made that makes us feel really good. But then when we look into the life and the career of the musicians that seem like they're above it all, they all have deep pockets, deep resources backing them up, pushing them at all times. You cannot escape the marketing, the viral push, the social media, the all of that. If you want your music to be heard by people, you have to have a strategy. And is that gross? Can you not like it? Yes. But at the same time, you got to. Unless you just want to make it for yourself, and that's fine too. So, anyway, on that personally, I think positive note, because there's actually a method to make it work. But some people would consider a very depressing note. We'll be streaming tomorrow. It'll probably be in the morning. And then again, we're gonna be more experimental. We're gonna do some horizontal streams. I think most days will be vertical. Tomorrow I'm gonna use the computer setup, so we'll be able to hear the piano, which will be lovely. We'll get that set up. We'll do some Christmas music and hymns tomorrow. And then Monday, we'll see what we do. Like, subscribe, go check out my Spotify, Apple Music. Peace out, everybody.